Hey brats, welcome back to the channel. It is hot. It is summer and it is getting hot here in Oregon. upHere brand has sent us some RGB fans for the computer. Now, these were on sale. These were 25 bucks. The price may have gone back up by now, but 25 bucks for 3 RGB fans. That's a really cheap price even for Amazon. So are these good quality? Are these gonna hold up to our computer? Let's find out. It comes with double-coated tissue tape is what this is called. Basically some like rubber little feetsy things to help put around the fans. Some screws to hold the fans. The remote control to control the RGB. The unit inside that probably has to run power to all of them. A couple more things of screws for each fan. And then your 3 RGB fans. This will be the first time in a while I have installed fans like this. I'm excited. They look pretty good in the picture. We're gonna install these together in the computer, see how these look, and then check how we're doing as far as cooling is going. So let's head over to the computer and get these all installed. Okay, so we are gonna get these installed in our case right here. So I already took 3 of these screws out. Obviously, you just gotta take these things off, get your case open. Always put your screws somewhere you're not gonna lose them. In fact, a safe thing for me, just put them back on the case with the glass panel off. All right, so depending, I was thinking I would put all 3 just on the front. It does look like they'll stack up just fine there. And then I'll probably take this one, move it to the top to help exhaust the air. So we're gonna have 3 pulling in, 2 blowing out, and then this whole back panel is open as well. So we shouldn't have any problems with any extra airflow pushing in too much, but we'll check it out. Okay. So we need to remove this one. Oh my goodness, look at that dust. Just a magnetic front clasp here. We'll clean that off before we put that back. And now we've got 4 screws here holding this one in place. Well, I was really hoping I was gonna get lucky on this install and not have to deal with redoing wiring, but I am not getting that lucky. So that goes to the front RGB. This one goes to this fan. We did get lucky, it just didn't look like it. Okay. We're one step closer after removing all 3 panels. We have now attached the fan to the top from the front. So all 3 RGB fans are gonna be up front, give us a nice uniform, good look on the front, a lot of airflow coming into the PC, and then this extra fan top's gonna help blow that air back out. So we've got it all attached up here. Now I just need to run the wire in a way that's not gonna look terrible. So I'm gonna try and run it back through the top. Now we gotta figure out where we're gonna put our power harness for our 3 new fans. So it comes with this. This is where each of our fans is gonna plug into. Then we just need to plug this into a power piece off of the motherboard. So then we'll end up probably putting this down on the bottom, hopefully kind of out of sight here. That was easy enough. Comes with a little remote control. Honestly, I'll probably turn it on once and never use it again, but hey, it's there for us. Now we've got our 3 fans. Now, important step here, while everything is torn apart, we're gonna plug this in, make sure we get the right directionality on all the fans, make sure everything has power before we move on. Otherwise, we could end up putting this thing all back together and end up having to tear it all back apart. So, okay, we've confirmed that our 2 fans here are blowing outward, and then these fans, these don't look bad, I gotta say, for how cheap they were. Airflow goes towards the logo sign, pretty standard. Ooh, that air feels nice, actually. It's really hot in here. Okay, so we know we're gonna put all 3 of them with the upHere word that doesn't spin facing inward. Comes with these individually packed screw bags, which is pretty cool. That way you could keep these with the fans in case you don't end up using all the screws. I'm gonna go top to bottom just to kind of help me deal with the cable management as I go. With each screw partially in place, I'm only going to screw them in a little ways because I'm going to want to wait till I have all 3 fans aligned and in there to make sure I have the space before I tighten them down. Otherwise, you're just going to end up untightening and retightening screws over and over. And for now, we have a little bit of play with the way this case is built to move these. So let's get the other 2 on. Ideally, if I really want to make this look good, I'm going to run each cable I can just back through here to kind of make the cables a little bit more invisible, and then I'll reroute them underneath to the power box. Again, same thing, we're going to keep these facing with the upHere logo that doesn't spin, facing inward. Now this is coming together, it looks like we will be putting all these at the very top, the 3rd one down here, but we still won't tighten them until the end just to be sure. Again, still remembering to keep them all uniform and straight. Pulling all those cables tight. Okay, we've got all 3 of those aligned for good airflow. There is actually no up or down movement now because of the way each of the 2 screws landed in these. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten all these down. I always tighten in a star pattern due to working on cars forever. It's not totally necessary. And these don't need to be overly torqued, they just need to be tight. There we go. Looking good. So now we've got our 3 here that we need to route back inside. We're just gonna run all these back through here to where we can plug them back into that box. And then I'll probably come back, I may come back here with 1 twist tie and just tie this up to make it look neat, but this is a solid panel. This side isn't gonna show, so. I may not, because in the future then I'm just gonna be having to cut zip ties and stuff whenever I come back in there. Boom. 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 And then this doesn't have any screw holes on it. They do give you a couple of double stick tape pads in case you wanted to try and like display this in your case or something. I don't really see that as necessary. I'm just gonna tuck it back down underneath here with all my other wires and just keep it all clean looking. So now to put it back together. So we've got our stock RGB plugged back in. We've got our 3 new RGB fans plugged back in. We've got the power supply to both of those. And I do want to check that. Yep. We've got the RGB top working, and it's the same cable. It's going to go to the front RGBs, so we don't need to worry about testing those ones before we finish. So let's put it back together. We're not going to mess with the internals anymore, so we're done with that. All right, let's kill some of these lights and take a look at our freaking new bling. So at this point, all I have on is the overhead light. We're gonna take the plastic that's covering the batteries out so that this should now work. Flip this on. All right, we got 3 in there alternating flashing lights, along with the stock RGB that's up here. That kind of, this one's being drowned out pretty well by these now. Looks definitely a lot better. I can feel it drawing air from there. I can feel it blowing air out from the back, and obviously it's not under load, so the fans aren't gonna be running high. So we can quickly flip these lights off, on. Auto cycles through some of the multicolored options. We can switch it to single color. So this is where you can see that's red. You can still see this one kind of competing as it alternates. We flip through all our colors here. So if you want to take a picture and set it to one color, you can do that. You can switch, cycle through bits of color here. We can turn the brightness up or down, but who would ever turn them down? I mean, you don't put these things in here to be dim. And then auto, which is probably the mode I'll leave it, honestly. Probably the coolest looking one in my opinion. I do like the spinning color there. That's a pretty sweet mode. I'll turn this back this way just to make sure you can see it better. kind of a clean one with just the black and white, but we want some color. It's a nice bit of a slower one there. Tons of options. And if you hit auto, it seems to take you back to like the stock one it came with. So that's pretty sweet looking. That was installing the 3 cheapest RGB fans we could find on Amazon. So let me know what you think if you've ever tried RGB fans, if you get them cheaper, if you buy really expensive, nice ones. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll leave a link to in the description to these just in case you want to get a set. They were only $25 when I got them, although I know these things tend to go up pretty quickly after launch. So check them out there if you want to, but I will see you in another reality. I want to say the biggest ever thank you to our now 4 patrons, K27, Rocket Sauce 28, Fred Nepatebo, Ege Karatash. Thank you so much, all of you.